I'm Jennifer Iserloh for Healthy Cheats, where I show you how to live the good life and be healthy too. So today we're going to be talking about some fun ways to do wine pairings and clear up a lot of those misconceptions about wine and health. A lot of people know that seafood goes great with white wine, that's a natural pairing. But I want to talk a little bit about why you should make wine pairings in the first place. And really, when you're enjoying wine, you're looking for aromas or flavors in the wine that mimic what's in the food. And it really just helps to expand the pleasure of eating. So it's all about enjoyment. So take this Sancere, for example. You're going to find hints of things like herbs and lemon in it. And that's one of the reasons why I paired this with a beautiful grilled shrimp with Meyer lemons. And Meyer lemons are a lemon that's a little bit sweeter and they're perfect for summertime. But if you can't find Meyer lemons, you can always go with a standard lemon. So we're really looking to sort of harmonize the flavors of things you find in wine and food. So you just really have a rich and flavorful experience. And that's one of the beauties of pairing wine. Now, I have the Chardonnay here, which is also something that pairs very well with seafood. This tends to be a little bit more herbaceous. And another reason I like it is it's a little bit heavier on the tongue. It has a bigger body. So it's good if you're going to do this dish in the winter time. This might be good for something like if you're doing a summer grilling. So next I'll talk about some rosés and reds. And rosés are great because they're sort of the bridge between a white and a red. So they go with something like, for example, if you have a pasta with a tomato sauce, a lighter dish that has a tomato base. Rosés are great for that, but you can also pair them with seafood that's a little bit richer, like something like a salmon, for example. Now, when it comes to rosés, they come in so many different varieties and bodies. This one is a little bit richer in color, and it's a little bit stronger in flavor. So that's why we can get away with using it with the pasta. And it's actually a mix of white grapes and red grapes. So when you're, checking out your wine for the first time, the first thing you want to do is just breathe it in, and you want to think about what the aromas are inside the wine. Of course, you can always look up this information online, but it's also a good idea for you to start to imagine what you think you smell. It could be something like raspberries, it could be fruit, it could be herbs, vegetables. Use your imagination. There is no right or wrong. So when it comes to reds, they tend to be a lot more bold in flavor and odor compared to something like a rosé, but they still pair great with pasta, and they're also great with meat dishes. So that's why traditionally when you're doing something like a filet or a steak, you want to get a heavier cab because that's going to match the richness and weight of the food that's on your tongue. So how do these wines stack up in terms of health? Well, if there's only one thing you can take away from this video, it's that everything in moderation. Because remember, wine really doesn't fill you up, and it happens to be high in calories. So while we're at it, let's bust one of those popular health myths. A lot of people think that wine turns to sugar in the blood, but it actually has the opposite effect. It makes your blood sugar tank. So that's why if you're drinking too much wine, sometimes you might have that experience of waking up in the middle of the night or feeling extra hungry the next day. So again, you want to limit the amount. This is about 120 calories worth of wine, and you really want to savor it. You really want to take a moment to sit down with your meal, smell those aromas, enjoy the wine with the food, and that's how you can also learn to become a little bit of your own expert when it comes to wine pairings. So when it comes to serving wines with dessert, I like to scale back on the calories in the dessert and do something simple like this fruit dish. And I love to do something sparkly at the end of a dinner. Not only does it make it more festive, but it makes it look super elegant. So for our dessert pairing, I have two Proseccos here. One is a white and one is a rosé. Just like the other wines, Prosecco and Champagne does have calories, around 110 calories per 5-ounce pour. But the good news is Prosecco tends to be a little bit lower in alcohol, so it's a nice way to finish off your meal without getting overloaded. Another great idea is if you're doing a flight of wines, just go for a smaller pour. Do 3 ounces instead of 5 ounces. So you'll be cutting back on alcohol and calories, but you'll still really be savoring those wines and enjoying those aromas, which make life so good and interesting. So to recap, here are the basics of pairing. With whites, they go great with seafood and things that contain herb and lemon. With rosés, they go great with things that have tomato sauces and even items that are spicy. When it comes to red, they also go great with things that are tomato-based, but also are perfect with meats and heavier dishes. And desserts, Prosecco and sparkling wines are perfect with light desserts like these raspberries with just a hint of whipped topping. So now you see how super easy and fun it is to do these wine pairings. And after all, shouldn't life be delicious without having a cost to your health? I'm Jennifer Iserloh for Healthy Cheats, and I'll see you next time. To your health. Hey everyone, if you have a great recipe that you'd like to see me do in a healthier way, just let me know. You can send a video response or ask your questions in the comments below. I can't wait to hear from you.